following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Hey, guess what? Football is in the building.
Yeah.
I am at the Star today. I am broadcasting live from the SWBC Mortgage office. I'm in the boss's office today. I am in Derek Eagleton's office because Nick is in our office and we can't share an office. So
you're just planning your takeover, aren't you?
I am. I'm slowly spreading out across the landscape. So got to watch some practice this morning. Jesse, liking the hat, liking the shirt. Nate,
Thank you.
liking the face. You looking good. Kurt, you look good. How's everybody feeling? Y'all good today?
Good, my friend. Good.
I hope I'm as good as that coffee Nate is drinking.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Is it
man.
good?
And Shannon, since you planning a hostile takeover of Derek Eagleton's place, can you get me and Jesse some passes where we can come physically see the practice?
You know what? That's above my pay grade. You guys are gonna have to.
Oh, okay. Now all of a sudden you're back in the office with Nick. Now you're back in the office with Nick. Okay.
Can we get some grace? Can we get
Thank
some
you.
grace?
Can we get some grace?
Can we get some grace?
Wow. I mean, because I don't want to have to call a bunch of guys to tell our fans and listeners what I think I see. I want to know what I'm seeing, my friend.
I hear you.
I'm going to call Ian Rappaport.
Oh man, don't start, Jesse. Don't start.
Stirring the pot there.
Don't start, man. We're not 3 minutes into the show and Jesse's stirring up some crap already, man. So the big news. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I finally got to watch practice. It's a little bit different than normal training camp. They had practice indoors today. We got to watch it from over in Cowboys Club in one of the little side rooms over. A few of us in there, socially distanced. The big news coming out of today, Gerald McCoy went down right in front of us, actually. We saw it happen. He was doing a drill up against Antoine Woods, went down, looked like he was grabbing his lower leg, possibly the knee area. Had to be kind of helped off the field. Haven't heard anything. Have you guys heard any of the reports about what it could possibly be, or just that it was an injury?
Call Ian Rappaport. He probably knows. What you think?
All they've said is that he's going in for an MRI later today, and I think Stephen Jones is supposed to talk with the media here in a little bit, so hopefully he'll have some kind of update, but they may not have much until they get that MRI back.
Was it
You
leg,
sure, Kurt?
lower leg?
I don't know. Well, they're talking knee. That's apparently
Knee? That's what.
That's just from some of the Twitter people were saying knee.
Yeah, that's
Twitter
what it
who?
looked like to us.
Yeah.
Twitter who?
Twitter. Just some of the reporters that were there. What are you talking about? Twitter who?
I'm just following up what Jesse said. I mean,
Y'all
how do we get our information?
Come on now. Come on.
I mean, I really, I'm praying that I get to see a practice, man. I mean, Ian Rappaport is 1,000 miles away from us, and he's getting inside information. I used to play for the Cowboys. He can't get this type of info. Wow.
Oh, what? All right. I'm trying to keep this out of the ditch.
So no, let me say this. Let me say this on the Gerald McCoy front. This is why I love what they did in the offseason with getting depth. Right? They've added pieces because one, you want a rotation, but you always have to account for if someone goes down. And if that someone that goes down is a starter or a guy who we have significant who we expect to have a significant role in our team's schematics, all those things. This is why you need to have the depth. This is why you need guys like a Dontario Poe to be back there. Have versatility with a guy like Antoine Woods, Tyron Crawford, being multiple in your sets. This is that time where you need a rookie to kind of now get those veteran reps that he wouldn't necessarily always have gotten because of the veteran guy being in front of him, like a Neville Gallimore. And also, this is the time when you say, hey, okay, second-year player, you're not a rookie anymore, Tristan Hill. Now you're going to be able to get a little bit more reps, and you kind of ramp that up a little bit. This is the importance, is that when you go into camp, you have that ability to have depth at each position, because you never know. You never know when it comes to football. Every play, you're one step closer to getting injured. If the ball is snapped on that play, there's a likelihood that you can possibly get injured. And you just don't want to leave your cupboard so bare that if a guy goes down, and like we've seen in the past, we've seen this happen time and time again in the past, where we put so much stock on one guy and we had nothing behind it. And then when that one guy went down, our ship just began to sink. And so having a little bit of depth and a little bit of versatility and being multiple with your fronts, I think this coaching staff has kind of done a really good job with giving themselves a little bit of rope, that if a Gerald McCoy injury happens in training camp, we all pray and hope that it's not a significant injury, maybe just a little tweak, a little bump and bruise, and he'll be back in in a short amount of time. But giving yourself that versatility, that little bit of leverage to say, okay, cool, Gerald McCoy goes down, okay, Antoine Woods, okay, Tristan Hill, okay, Gallimore. Now we got guys to put in there and keep our rotation going so that we can continue to progress. Because this is not only conditioning, football conditioning for these guys. This is not only install for these guys. This is everything that they missed in the offseason. You're trying now to combine in the next couple of weeks to get them ready for a season with no preseason games to be played in. So everything that you're doing here, you're conditioning, you're teaching, you're formatting, you're scheming, you're evaluating talent, and you're trying to get guys ready for the game day. So we hope and pray that Gerald McCoy is okay, but being able to have that flexibility because you have depth at each position is crucial and key. And like Dak said, the healthiest team, and that doesn't necessarily always mean the COVID situation, the healthiest team will have a pretty good opportunity to compete for a championship.
But that depth that Jesse is talking about, it is good that we have it, but it is only two. It's only three guys that's going to play that three technique. That's the guard. That's the tackle that will be over each guard in a 4-3. In a 3-4, you're not so much worried about Gerald McCoy because that's Dante Poe in a 3-4, going to be over the nose. But you're looking at a guy that's going to play primarily over the guards in Gerald McCoy. So now you're looking at Tristan Hill, you're looking at Gallimore, and you're looking at maybe Tyrone Crawford. Those are the three guys that can give you the most reps there. And if I'm knowing these coaches by them bringing in Gallimore and drafting them themselves and seeing them themselves, he should be that first one in line. I mean, I understand they may put the other guys there that Jesse talked about, but those are the guys that you will see in the game. God forbid that the guy that got hurt, Gerald McCoy, God forbid that it's a long period of time, but they're going to have to be specific in who they give those reps. The other guys are ones that Dontario Poe, Antoine Woods, guys like that. They are one techniques. They are guys that you put over the center and you let them wreak havoc. But we need, like Jess keeps reminding us of Tristan Hill. He needs to stand up, stand tall. We know Gallimore motor is 100%. All he got to do is learn the techniques and catch up with the speed of the game. Tyrone Crawford is a veteran of the game. He knows what needs to be done. So I agree with you, Jesse. We hope that Gerald is not out for a long period of time. But these reps are very, very precious. And I don't think coaches have time to wait on a player to grow up. You either grow up now with your reps or grow out of this team.
Is this kind of a fine balance, though? I mean, this is sort of our worst fear happening, in that with no conditioning, no offseason at all. I mean, McCoy looks like he's out. The 49ers lost Jalen Hurd today. The Ravens lost their cornerback Marshall. I mean, you're starting to see players drop. I mean, is this just kind of bad luck, or have we seen the effects of no offseason now, and is it only going to get worse?
You're seeing the effects of no offseason. This game of football is such a punishing and taxing game on your body And a lot of these guys, and I'm not saying Gerald McCoy, but I'm saying being around this sport, playing in this sport, a lot of these guys in the offseason, they didn't train properly. They may have went out once or twice a day. Of course, a lot of gyms were closed, facilities were closed down, so there wasn't the opportunity to get your body. Like when you hear condition, I don't mean the lung capacity. Like I don't mean being able to run and not get tired. In this game, the way that you move with such force and power and ferocity and veracity, you move with such, you put your bodies to this extreme maximum of what you're doing. You have to build the body up to get there. And if you're sitting around and maybe only working out once or twice a week, you're going to see now when you're in camp that, and even in your workouts, it's so hard to emulate what you're actually going to be doing in practice. So even in your workouts, if you're going at a max 50 to 60 to 70%, in practice, when pads come on, when jobs are trying to be won, when contracts are trying to be won, all these things are happening. It's up here. It's at a new level. You're at 100 miles an hour, and it's like having a Ferrari or a Porsche sit in the garage for an entire year, and then all of a sudden you break it out on a Saturday and you want to take it to the track and do 100 miles an hour. Something's probably going to break in it. So a belt's probably worn down. Something's probably going to happen. This is an effect of what you're seeing now of not having that offseason, not having those mini camps and OTAs and being in the building and getting that body to a place of being able to compete at 100 miles an hour for consecutive days with someone leaning on you, pushing on you, pulling on you, and you're trying to run these routes. See, when I'm training and I'm working out, when I get tired, you know what I say? Hey, I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again for Tailgating with the OtterBox Boys.
OtterBox, the company that builds wildly over...
I'm paying you, so I tell you when I want to work, when I don't want to work, when I get tired. And most of the guys who are training, when you give a little pushback to their workouts, they're gonna kind of like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, all right, let's tone it down. It doesn't happen that way in practice. When you get tired, you can't say, hey, coach, I'm shutting it down for the day. I'm good. No, I'm trying to win a job. I'm trying to get ready. So I think you're going to see more of this happening across the league with the Achilles, with the ACLs, with the hamstrings, because bodies are just not ready to go at this high capacity, consecutive days in a row because of the missed training in the offseason.
You just have to play it by ear with each player. The veteran guys are going to be a little bit more in tune with their bodies and knowing where they're at and trying to get settled in. I think you're going to see a few injuries. That happens. Let's not go in the deep end yet. They have missed a lot, but they are slowly trying to bring these guys in, and I'm quite sure with Gerald McCoy going down, they probably, let's back up. They're backing up as coaches and as administrators, trying to make sure that they don't push it. But guess what? In 2.5 weeks, it don't matter. Like Dak said, the healthy man will win because it's going to be wide open. They got, 13 more padded practices. Was this their first one today, Shannon, padded practices?
I think tomorrow. Yeah, today.
Okay.
Today,
so today was their first. So they got 13 more padded practices, which I'm quite sure Shannon, by him doing this dominant hostile takeover of Derek's office, I'll be able to get out there.
Well, let me ask you guys this: the conditioning. Obviously, we're talking about that, but then you got the other part, the off-season workouts and no preseason. Missing out on the off-season workouts for the rookies. You hear the biggest difference in the NFL game is the speed of the game. You're not going to get the speed of the game because you're not going to have any preseason games. The rookies are going to jump right into speed of the game is going to be first. Their first experience in the NFL is going to be a real live game.
The Rams.
That counts. How big of a disadvantage for the rookies is that going to be, and how long is it going to take them to catch up to the rest of the league? Does this delay them getting up to speed, and by how much?
It just depends on how elite an athlete you are mentally. A lot of these guys are physically, like a wide receiver. Jesse can speak on that. They ain't gonna be used to people putting hands on them. Not the way these guys gonna put hands on them. But the elite athletes, when they see it and they feel it, they'll start to groove into it and the mental aspect of it. Whereas it took me a while to adjust, but I saw some guys come into the league, like the Zach Martins of the world. They were ready. They were born to do this, and they were mentally ready. So it's just how quick they can look and adjust on the run mentally. Is how quick I'll give a rookie, an elite rookie with the right mindset. I give him 3 to 4 weeks. I give a guy that ain't got his mind right.
That long?
Oh yeah, it's a man's world now, Kurt. Yeah,
is that a worry though? Because McCarthy said by the end of the season, by December, he expects most of the young guys on the roster to really be contributing.
And how many games is that by December if they make it that far?
Now it's like a guy like Gallimore you mentioned. I mean, you need him right now. I mean, how
you do, but that's why you kept Antoine Woods. That's why you got Dontario Poe. That's why you kept Crawford. Because things like this is going to happen. Jesse just spoke on it here earlier in a nice way. It's going to happen. Something bad is going to happen, whether the virus hits you for 2-3 weeks or something. You got to go with what you got. And that's what I'm saying. The reps are so precious. As a man that's trying to be a part of the football team, you got to value them reps. Whereas before, you got all the off season. You go into training camp. You got 5 weeks with a Hall of Fame game. You got 5 weeks of they ain't gonna push the rookie. They ain't gonna. But now it's like you got to get in there and do your job, and you'll see coaches pushing you to the side more quickly. Now you may get a week, and the coach be like, nah. That's, practice squad. They making decisions on you. Like Jason Garrett used to say, you're getting judged every day. That is real crucial at this point in time.
And I think one thing that's also, and it's not 100%, and it's not a solid definite, but for these rookies, what conference did you play in? I think that helps a little bit. I think when you look at guys who played in the upper echelon of conferences, let's just use a guy like CeeDee Lamb or a guy who's played in a competitive conference. Kids at Alabama, when you're playing in the SEC, you're literally Diggs. You're literally going up against future NFL players all the time. Right. And so that kind of gets you a little bit of understanding. And I'm not saying this is a definite across the board, because there are some low level guys who have come into this league and taken off quickly. But when you look at it overall, I was in the ACC, Nate. To speak for yourself, I'm sorry.
ACC, you weren't a determining factor. You was a basketball guy. Stop.
No, listen. I was a football player. Listen. I was a bench rider in basketball. I was a star in football.
Okay, yeah. When you were selling them phone batteries too, but go ahead on.
I was a star in that too, baby. I was employee of the month 3 months in a row, baby. Let's go. I was employee of the month 3 months in a row.
I hear you, babe.
Consecutively, I'm a winner wherever I go.
I hear you, babe. I hear you.
Jesse, how long did it take you then to get up to that game speed? What was that like for you as a rookie in trying to get up to match game speed?
I'll tell you this, and again, we're talking about 2007 when I came out. We're talking 13 years ago where things were just different. My very first padded practice, I ran an out route for Carson Palmer, and he hit me in the side of the helmet because I just didn't understand that in the league, they throw anticipation. In college, they throw it when you're actually open. And so it was just little things like that of getting adjusted to, going up against guys who were playing press man corner and was physical and had that man strength. That was something different that you had to get used to. Watching coverages change. Sometimes in college, as a receiver on the offensive end, and we see this more and more and more now, hearing that verbiage, when you got to go through a long, lengthy verbiage in the NFL to in college, it'd be like, right, North Carolina. And that just, when you hear right, North Carolina, that was the entire play that a lot of these kids may be listening to. And the same thing on defensively. So it's more so the speed of the game happens, but the knowledge of the game is where you need to be crisp at. You need to know that mental part of the game, because if I'm thinking, it is impossible to be thinking and playing at 100 miles an hour. It can't happen. I had, I don't want to use a Jason Garrett term, but to use a Jason Garrett term, you have to know that you know that you know that you know. That's the only way you're able to move at such a high speed. Yes, the game changes, the speed changes, but those who are playing at that high speed have a understanding of knowledge of what they're doing. They're not tiptoeing around and not hesitating. They're able to see something, and attack at 100 miles an hour because I know what it is. I know where I'm supposed to go. Now I don't have to think. The speed comes where I'm thinking. Do I do this route? What coverage is that? Is that 4? Is that 2? Is that 3? And now it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to go. Now you're like, oh snap. And so I'm not moving as fast as I possibly can because I'm doing too much of the buffering is happening in my mind of what's actually supposed to be going on on the field. So when you hear speed of the game, yes, it means in the sense of miles per hour it changes because you're just dealing with bigger, faster, stronger, but it's also dealing with the mental part of the game. How quick can I take the information that I have, offensively or defensively, take it in, know where I'm supposed to go, know my adjustments, and be ready to go before he says hut and do it at 100 miles an hour.
All right, fellas, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, Kurt is worried about this offensive line, and I'm going to give you some observations from my first day watching practice in this 2020 training camp. Thank you, Wingstop, for letting us bring the people this show. We're going to pay some bills, and we will be right back on Hanging with the Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again for Tailgating with the OtterBox Boys.
OtterBox, the company that builds wildly overprotective phone cases?
The one and only. But cases are just the start. OtterBox is the official outfitter of tailgating.
If they can keep my phone safe, what can they do for my parking lot party?
How about protecting your beverages from suboptimal drinking temperatures with their elevation tumblers? And OtterBox elevation tumblers come in 3 sizes, a 10-ouncer, a 20-ouncer, and even a 64-ounce growler.
Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
It's football season, and when you're tailgating with your friends and your family, you want the best meat on your grill. Pettigene Meats makes the best hot dogs, the Pettigene Griller, or the all-beef Franks will score. To complete that tailgate meal, Pettigene Meats has hickory smoked sausage, hot links, Polish sausage, and the best hickory smoked bacon and ham around. Available at your local retailer. And a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Pettigene Meats. Taste the difference.
We
can't wait to see the Cowboys back on the field, and we can't wait to pack AT&T Stadium to watch them play. When that time comes, SeatGeek is the place to get all of your tickets. Plus, tickets to the hundreds of games, concerts, rodeos, and other live events we'll all be able to enjoy again soon. Every SeatGeek purchase is protected by a buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. SeatGeek. Let's go.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Fellas, are you looking for something to change your dinner routine? I know you are. So help support local Frisco businesses by choosing one of the Star District restaurants. For more information on delivery, takeout, curbside pickup, and dine-in availability, visit thestardistrict.com. Come support the people out here at the Star. So, Derek's got some nice stuff in here. Do y'all want some souvenirs? Because, I mean...
Well, you're scoping out that office, aren't you?
Yeah,
Nope.
man. There's all kinds of, like, little awards. He's got some kind of, he's got all kind of stuff. Y'all want me to bring y'all something?
See, I just want to say there's paperwork for all of us to get a raise on his desk. The paperwork there for that.
I don't know if I'm opening any drawers. I'm not that.
You can
I'm
keep
not
the
that
memorabilia.
comfortable.
I don't want the memorabilia. I need to see the new contracts.
Derek, if you're listening, you better rethink this whole Shannon using your office thing. You might not get it back.
Oh, all right, fellas. Let's get into some more football. Man, it feels good to watch practice. Did I mention that I watched practice today? I got to watch.
Tell us about
practice. I watched.
Did
practice.
you know what you was looking at? Tell us what went on in practice.
Well, I did notice that they have names on the back of their jerseys, which is really weird seeing that. Seeing the quarterbacks in red jerseys is really weird. And I'm not going to start a quarterback controversy, but I will say...
Start a quarterback controversy.
No, not at all. But I will say I feel, and I've only watched one practice, but I feel more comfortable about the backup quarterback position than I think I ever have working for the Dallas Cowboys. Andy Dalton looks really, really good in practice. I mean, he throws a good ball. He was throwing some really good routes. That was one thing that jumped out to me. A couple other things. Anthony Brown looks really good, man. He looks like Anthony Brown from, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, when he was on the rise and we were talking about we wanted to see more Anthony Brown, he looked really good. And again, this is just one practice. Jalen Smith looks really good in coverage. That was very noticeable. Just those are just some things that I picked up on that I kind of saw that. But I mean, I like the quarterback situation, and I haven't been able to say that maybe ever that I like the starting quarterback and the backup. But I feel really confident going into this year with how that's shaken out. So we'll see, man. But those are really some things that jumped out to me.
I don't know how much you can compare it to last year, but the reporters and even the players, I think Zach Martin, he said there's a big difference this year under McCarthy, a lot more energy. I mean, are you getting that sense of sounded like today's practice where the defense was pretty intense?
Oh my God, let me tell you something, Kurt. A new coach who has no loyalty to no one but his draft picks. Oh, yeah, as a veteran, you got young legs. You have been training viciously. Yes, sir, you have young legs. Because all of a sudden, he don't know your name, you don't know his name, he don't know what he's want, and you want to prove to the coach that, hey, if it come down to me and this rookie that you drafted, I want to have the starting edge on him.
Nate, that's a good point. You and Jesse both. When you have a new coach, you're right. They're not loyal to anybody, so everybody's having to reprove themselves. Is that good for the team overall, or is it bad?
Yes.
Because I would think it's good for competition, but does it make you go a little bit too hard in practice to where are you stretching yourself too thin? What do you think?
Always have to, Shannon. You always have to. A coach loves when I was with the Redskins for the short period of time, and when Coach Johnson came in. He always, back up. Okay, fellas, nobody on the ground. Hey, let's slow down. You love when a coach is saying that versus pick this up, start this drill over. Let's do this again. Oh, that one ran right. Can we do this over? Those type practices don't get you prepared for Sunday. The other type practices get you prepared for Sunday.
The coach should be the one that is pushing the brake.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have to be gassing you up. Like the coach is like, okay, hold, let's bring it down a notch. Like when the coach is telling you to bring it down a notch, that's a good thing. It's when it's the opposite. So, coaches when they go back in that office and they're watching film, they want to see like, look at this guy. Look at him finish, man. He finished his blocks. He finished his tackle. He finishes his play. He finishes his run. And so and we had this conversation before. With New England, the competition level is so high that it brings out the best of everybody. And then it gives you a better and more realistic look when you're trying to scheme things up as a defensive coordinator, as an offensive coordinator. Because now you're like, okay, this is what it looks like real time with real effort, not some guys, half dogging it, and you don't get a good look. And now coaches are trying to say, well, damn, will this play work or won't this play work? I'm trying to see if it'll work, but this guy who's supposed to, I need him to really go down at that. If he's not going where he's supposed to be going, then he's sitting in the hole, then I don't know if it's going to work on Sunday. So when you get those things at a high level and guys are competing, you get the best from each player, and you're able to go out there and coach better because now you're seeing things at a more realistic pace and a more realistic view, and you can say, okay, that'll work, that won't work, they'll work, they won't work, and now I can go back and adjust and change it so that I give myself as a coaching staff the better opportunity to call plays, and I can now evaluate the players at a better rate because things are going at a much higher, more competitive rate.
Right here.
One more thing.
Is the game. Excuse me, Shannon. Right here is the game. No. You try to get as close to that game as possible without injuring your players. if you right here all the time, that means when the game crank up, you got to go here. Two things that does. That gives you injury and, like Jesse said, a false sense of what your game plan is. Yeah. So you have to, and I'm talking about doing training camp. As the season comes and you get into a rhythm and you know how to practice, it changes. But when you're trying to get ready for a season, that is big.
Speaking of the injury, Ian Rappaport's now reporting that his sources are telling him that McCoy is feared to have torn his ACL and be out for the year. So.
Say that again, Kurt.
You got it. Who did you get that from? Mickey or Dave Hellman?
Ian Rappaport tweeted.
Oh, okay, that guy.
Ago.
All right.
Yeah. Sources are telling him and Jane Slater that McCoy is feared to have torn his ACL. So that would put him out for the year.
Oh, man, I hate to hear that.
So he's having an MRI later, but the initial word is tore the ACL.
So I wonder, go ahead on, Shannon. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
I wonder what would that do? Would that put Tyrone Crawford in the tackle rotation more, or would that keep him at the defensive end rotation? Because you got Neville, you got Tristan Hill. Those are the three that I would play at the three. Those are the two I would play at the three technique. And then I know that if he's healthy, that Tyrone Crawford can play that three technique. I'm trying to figure out who is the other guys that will possibly, if this is the situation what's being reported, what other guys would you put on? I know in a pass rush situation you can put Griffin, you can move guys around then, but I'm talking about just when you're talking about regular down and distance. Who would be those guys in that rotation?
That's what they got to figure out, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
And like Jess said, real quick, it ain't. This is gonna be discussed tonight, and it's gonna be in a full effect come tomorrow, the next day, because you don't have that time, and everybody and the waiver wire is not gonna be full with just anybody out there. Everybody trying to hold on to everything they got because they only got 80 players to work with.
Yeah.
What's on the street is out
available. Snacks is available. I'm just saying he's still out there somewhere. I think Snacks is available, but also when you look at this and this is the first day that they've practiced the first couple days where outside, right?
Outside,
natural grass. When they move inside and you change your surfaces, and now they're practicing on turf. I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason why, but I'm saying it could be possibly that's something that when you're looking at changing those surfaces, going from natural grass, going into the turf, cleats getting stuck, things like that happen. I'm not saying that is the reason, but I mean, we're just looking at all different types of angles of how things could possibly play out for an injury like ACL.
Yeah, they've talked about, they've been playing a 4-3. They've talked about maybe under Nolan playing a little bit of 3-4. And I think DeMarcus Lawrence was talking about, they've done some drills where he's standing up rushing. Does this change anything? Maybe we do see more 3.
Well, you can implement those looks, because the major difference in that is you go to more linebackers. You have 4 linebackers versus 3 linebackers, so you can stand Jalen up on the outside. Because they moved Jalen from the mic to the wheel, and then you got what happened is you have 2 guys on the inside, Leighton Van Der Esch and whoever else they would put there, and then put my boys on the outside, the other guys on the outside. But it's just a mismatch of what Coach Nolan want to do. By the advantage they have right now, by limited guys and media, limited guys like me or Jess as somebody that can report what they see, a lot of guys are not reporting what they see, and I don't think they want you to report if it's a 3-4 variation or if it's a 4-3 variation, and a lot of guys probably don't even know what they're looking at. So I'm being honest.
No,
I'm being honest.
That's the truth.
If it's a 3-4, you ain't got to worry about Gerald McCoy. You ain't got to worry about Tyrone Crawford, because if it's 3-4, you just put Dantario Poe over the center. And then you got two tackles over the offensive tackles, and everybody outside linebacker. You got 2 inside linebackers. So all your linebackers come into effect. Do they think this team is stronger at that position where they got 3-4 linebackers and they're a stronger team, or do they think they're stronger with the 4 guys they got across. And then you play off of those variations. Because in this short period of time, you don't have a lot of time to think. You have to say, hey, either we better at a 3-4 variation or we better at a 4-3 variation.
Yeah. We hear him talk about putting the best players on the field. You know, they talked about that some at the secondary last year. I mean, maybe they're better with Lawrence as an outside linebacker and Griffin as an outside linebacker with Smith.
Griffin, them, yeah, you would look at them a little bit as outside linebackers. Because I talked to Mickey, and he said that, you know, these guys were standing up. Well, they ain't going to be able to cover guys a long period of time. They mostly going to rush. But if you go with four backers, who are your tackles? These are different style guys. When you have defensive ends over in the 3-4, these guys 9 times out of 10 are holding up blocks. Your nose have to be truly like a Dontario Poe that's going to command that one of those guards help at all the time. And now you praying that one of those defensive ends in that 3-4 is like that too. That's sturdy like a Tyrone Crawford that's going to eat up a block. That's going to allow your linebackers to just, like the Steelers back in the heyday. Yep. Yeah, free flow and just kill things.
I wonder outside of Crawford if they have that guy then as a defensive tackle. Or,
we'll see, my friend.
Defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big blow, losing Gerald McCoy because we don't know what's behind him. We've never seen Gallimore on this level. We've never seen Tristan Hill on this level. We've seen Tyrone. Now, it's other guys they probably got in camp that we are not even mentioning their names that they feel comfortable with, but this is an adjustment. This guy was, like Jesse said earlier, this guy was factored in to be a major player. You're talking about 30, 40 snaps, maybe 20, 45 snaps, depending on how the game is being played.
One more observation I had from practice before we move on, we got to take a quick break here in a second, is I'm going to go out on a limb here. I've only seen one practice. I've only seen one practice, but I'm going to go out. I'm just going to hang it all out there. This is my bold prediction for the year, okay? This offense will not be as predictable as it has been in the past.
I could have told you that back in March.
No, I think you're going to see, we all expected this. You're going to see a lot of different looks. You're going to see a lot of different personnel packages. What you think you're getting, you think you're getting with Coach McCarthy through the one practice that I've, watched, that seems to hold true. Jesse, this was your guy, Freaky Mike. This is your guy. What do you expect? What do you expect to see from the offense as far as motion, packages, personnel, things like that?
I think all of it. I've even been hearing that, they've been using more of Zeke and Tony Pollard in the backfield at the same time. He said it in another interview. He said, man, Blake Jarwin is going to be a really significant factor in this, someone who can control the middle of the field. When you can get that safety to have to sit in that middle of the field, it allows you to do so many other things in that intermediate to outside range, because that safety just can't come hammering down or can't just play back there because they're not afraid of someone actually attacking them down the middle of the field like we've had in the past. And so, I think Gallup is going to continue his progression. Amari's going to be what Amari is. Lamb is going to be, that X factor inside. So this is going to be one of those things where it's pick your poison. And they're going to be able to be so flexible, and Dak is going to have so many options. He's going to have options. And this is what's going to make him so comfortable, is when you spread this offense out sideline to sideline. It now forces the defense to spread out sideline to sideline. When you add short motions or shifts, it now makes the defense have to show their hand. And as a quarterback going into his 5th season, I think Dak has a significant understanding of what he's looking at, especially in division games, with some of the personnel, being able to see certain things and go and say, oh, I know what that is. Ball's going right over here to the right now. Oh, this ball's going right over here to the left. I'm handing it up. I'm doing so and so. So when you are able to spread your offense out from sideline to sideline with 3 wide receivers, motion backs out, and do different type of things, it makes the defense have to show their hand. And now you're able to pick up on those little keys and hints that you can say, oh, I know the ball's going. It's going here right now. Ball is out. Ball's delivered. And we're moving down the field. Another little tidbit, another one of my good friends are now in the quarterback room with Dak, a guy by the name of Seneca Wallace. If you know anything about Seneca Wallace, his time at Iowa State, you know, he was Russell Wilson while Russell Wilson was still peeing in the bed. You know what I'm saying? At Iowa State. And, you know, maybe he's just kind of that guy. He's in there, he's learning, he's in that internship. But we always wanted Dak to be able to say, let's use your legs a little bit more. Let's see Dak tuck it and run a little bit more. I think Seneca also, you know, I'm not saying that he's going to be able to influence things, but if there's questions that needs to be asked about, you know, running different plays and style, maybe from Mike McCarthy, who he was with in Green Bay, or Kellen Moore or anything like that, you got a guy sitting in the meeting now with you who understands what it is to be a mobile and running quarterback and have some plays that he may be able to draw up to get Dak a little bit, you know, a little foot loose and fancy.
Let me say this right here.
Go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead on. Let's take this break, man. I'll come back with it, big boy.
All right. When we come back, we're going to get Nate's take. Kurt's got some concerns. Maybe we'll talk about Kurt's guy snake bite if we have time. We got a lot to get in 15 minutes, so we'll be right back on Hanging with the Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again for Tailgating with the OtterBox Boys.
OtterBox, the company that builds wildly overprotective phone cases?
The one and only. But cases are just the start. OtterBox is the official outfitter of tailgating.
If they can keep my phone safe, what can they do for my parking lot party?
How about protecting your beverages from suboptimal drinking temperatures with their elevation tumblers? And OtterBox elevation tumblers come in 3 sizes, a 10-ouncer, a 20-ouncer, and even a 64-ounce growler.
Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
It's football season, and when you're tailgating with your friends and your family, you want the best meat on your grill. Pettigene Meats makes the best hot dogs, the Pettigene Griller, or the all-beef Franks will score. To complete that tailgate meal, Pettigene Meats has hickory smoked sausage, hot links, Polish sausage, and the best hickory smoked bacon and ham around. Available at your local retailer. And a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Pettigene Meats. Taste the difference.
We can't wait to see the Cowboys back on the field, and we can't wait to pack AT&T Stadium to watch them play. When that time comes, SeatGeek is the place to get all of your tickets. Plus, tickets to the hundreds of games, concerts, rodeos, and other live events we'll all be able to enjoy again soon. Every SeatGeek purchase is protected by a buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. SeatGeek. Let's go.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Man, if that is not the most catchy commercial we've ever had on this show. Yo Quiero guacamole. I love that. Get the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Cowboys fan. Join Dallas Cowboys United and get an exclusive DCU fan pack and member benefits. Memberships start at only $20. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United to join today. 3 things to get into before the end of the... Oh, yeah, Kurt. Get it in there. Tell them about it.
Got to shoehorn it in. Yeah, especially with McCoy out. You want to know who's going to come in and replace him? We got the scouting reports. We got the position breakdowns. Go to DallasCowboys.com/star to get your training camp preview. Thank you, sir.
There you go. All right. Got 3 points to make in the next 10 minutes. Nate, I cut you off going into the break. It's your time to shine. Go, big dog. Go.
Hey, no, I was just, going in on what Jesse was talking about, predictability, man. Even if we run the same offense from last year, the players are different and more explosive, and that makes a big difference in itself. I'm not saying that if Jason had these guys last year, things would have been different because they scored a lot of points. But can you imagine whether it's Zeke in the backfield or Pollard in the backfield and it's 4 wide receivers, who do you cover? Especially in red zone. Third and 3 to 5, third and 5 to 7 is going to be an adventure this year. It ain't going to be like, okay, let's throw the ball to this guy and hope he get a first down. Let's throw the ball to this guy and hope no. All of these guys at every position has the ability to break a big play. Guys going to have to be sure in how they tackle these Dallas Cowboys this year. And everything is predicated on 2 guys, I think. That's Blake Jarwin, our tight end. Can he continue to do what he does when opportunities come to him? And Tony Pollard, will he be able to share some of that backfield in long yardage situations? And then how quick CeeDee Lamb, that's 3 instead of 2, how quick can CeeDee Lamb mentally get ready to play this game? Jesse, a circle is on your face. What happened?
I don't know.
You mentioned Jarwin earlier, Shannon, and you just did too, Nate. I'm kind of excited about him. I like where he's at in that.
Oh, no, Kurt, you can't backtrack from 2 years ago whenever you said he was
I never badmouthed Blake
Jarwin. Try to make up for that
No. You're trying to rewrite history. I never said anything bad. I said he was snake bit. I said he deserved better than what he was getting, so stop it with that nonsense.
What, you was going to cut his head off or what, as a snake?
No, I like, no. I like where he's at. I mean, I think in some ways he's under the radar. The receivers are getting so much attention. You've got, obviously Zeke gets a lot of attention. And here you've got Jarwin who, in flashes, in limited chances last year, he really produced. I think he averaged 3 yards more per catch than Witten, and so he could be a huge part of this offense. And McCarthy said that the other day in his press conference that, he's excited about him. He thinks he's going to make a big impact. And I think Jarwin's in a perfect place right now where he's not going to be looked upon to really carry a huge load. He's not going to have that kind of pressure or name recognition of trying to follow up Witten. He's just got to go out there and do his thing. I think he's going to have some great chances, and he's a guy I think that's going to finally not be snake bit and finally going to be able to take advantage of some of that stuff.
What's a fair expectation for Jarwin this year, and you guys' opinion as far as yards? Is it 400 yards, 500, 600? What do you guys think is fair?
800 or more.
Really?
Everybody's getting 1,000. Everybody.
So you're going to say 3,000-yard receivers, you got Zeke and Tony Pollard catching passes out of the backfield, and then you're putting Blake Jarwin at 800 or more?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Dak is throwing for 6,000 yards this year. 6,000. Let's go.
That is not unrealistic. All right, 6,000 is unrealistic. Let me say that first and foremost. But 5,000, 5,300 is not unrealistic. This team, Dak threw for 4,901 yards last year. He was 100 yards away from throwing it for 5,000 yards. And think about how many times this team should have been passing the ball instead of running the ball. Think about how many times that we've come out of the half and we've tried to milk the game in the third quarter and we lost. Think about how many times we've had the ball dropped by other tight ends, or think about how many times we've given the ball to other tight ends and they mailed their way to 4 yards. Yes, this is a realistic thing of Blake Jarwin being able to get 700, 800, 900 yards this season on 40, 50 catches. There is enough of an offense. There are enough footballs to go around. Again, Jason Witten last year had over 600 yards. That is crazy. And you're telling me that Blake Jarwin can't get, you said 400 yards?
Well, no, I think he's got the potential to be 1,000. I think he's got the potential to be 1,000, 1,200 yard tight end. But with all these other weapons, I don't know if you can get him the ball enough to get him 800-900 yards. Like I think you have in the passing game, you have stepped that up with him becoming a pass catching tight end. I think he's definitely going to get more yards than Witten. I just don't know if they're going to have enough balls to go around to get him that.
You know, and it's great to be enthusiastic. I mean, when is our first game? I mean, September what? I mean, it's right around the corner, man. It's just hard to tell what formations they're going to run, how many receivers they'll run, what's the percentages of that right there, how will they use the tight end. I mean, it's just so many questions to be answered, man. You just know
how they use him.
Yeah, you just
know he may not rack
that.
up a ton of yards, but I mean, like 50-something% of his catches last year went for first down. So if he can, move the chains, keep that middle of the field, provide that kind of target, I think he can make a huge impact.
If he gets 55 yards a game, and he plays in every game this year, that gives him 880 yards. Just 55 yards a game. Just 55 yards a game. It gives him almost 1,000 yards.
You have to in the first 4 games we'll know who's who and what's what, because each guy is going to have an opportunity to be a star each game, whether it's Zeke, whether it's Dak himself, whether it's Amari. Some guys going to go off 150, 175, and other guys going to, like Jesse said, 55 yards, 35 yards. But it's going to be a consistent thing with this offense, because I think early out they're going to have to score, like we've been talking about, 27, 28 points minimum. I don't know what the ceiling is, but you never want to walk away from a game with this team under 28 points.
Yeah, look, and I'm the 2 guys that I'm most excited to see in this offense outside of CD is Blake Jarwin and Tony Pollard, because I think they underutilized those guys. I think their potential is really high, and I don't think they were utilized in this offense last year. So I'm with you, Jesse. I think he has the talent to be an 800,000-yard receiver. I'm just interested to see how they distribute the ball and how that goes. All right, before we get out of here, Kurt.
Let me say one last thing. Before
go ahead.
To Nate's point about this team learning in the first couple of games and being able to have to score points, we all know they open up against the Rams. And if the Rams get back to what they were a couple years ago, you're going to need to score points in that game. Then they go up against the Falcons. You're going to need to score points against the Falcons. Then they go up against the Seahawks. You're going to need to score points to beat the Seahawks. And then you go play the Browns. You don't know what Browns team is coming. That can be a really sorry team, or that can be a team that can go out there and score points as well with the offensive weapons that they have. So they're going to need to score points there. So their first 4 games out the gate, this is not going to be a 17-10 type of game. You're going to have to go out there and actually score some points. So I think when you see the scoring go up, the numbers will go up, and there will be enough balls to go around to everybody.
All right, we'll see. Kurt, you're worried about this offensive line. Why?
Well, we're running out of time. This might be a good subject.
We got about 7 minutes.
No, we got time because we started late.
Okay.
We started late. We got an
Okay,
extension. We started late.
All right. Well, just looking at the 5 starters from last year. You lost Frederick to retirement. Connor Williams coming back from an ACL injury. Lyle Collins is being held out. He's battling an injury. Go past them. Your candidates for the swing tackle, Brandon Knight, he's battling an injury. I don't think Cam Irving's even been out there yet for sure. So, 1, are we worried about the state of the offensive line? Are they going to be able to hold up? And 2, do we have enough skill position talent that they could get by with an average offensive line and be just fine?
Kurt, and I'll answer that. 80% of the NFL does and prospers. That was, notice a year or so ago, I don't understand. We got 3 Pro Bowlers and crying about our offensive line. That's where your offensive. I'm serious. If you give the 80%, if you tell 80% of the offenses in the NFL, hey man, you're gonna have 3 Pro Bowlers regardless of where they at. They'll be like, where they at? Who are they? Let us know, because we will use them. That's where scheme and the ability to adjust, that's where coaching comes in at. to get you over the top for those other two guys. My issue is not our right tackle, our right guard, or even our left tackle with the number of games he may play. Looney has to pick his game up and get equal to. He has to start where he finished 2 years ago. He's got to be good. The Williams, he's gonna have to play because you're going against the Rams, the first game, and Aaron Donald told everybody, "Hey man, don't even ask me to move. I'm going right here over your left guard, and I'm going at him." So this is the guy that has to play like I'm serious. Jesse, what is Aaron Donald saying in this meeting? Like, man, he putting on his shades, kicking his leg back, and say, "Don't wake me up until I get ready for Dallas, because I'm playing over this left guard."
Yep.
Yeah, that's my only thought, man. That's my only thought. This kid gonna have to come to play this year. You know, you've been in this league long enough now. You should have been gained enough weight. You're smart enough. You know the offense. Let's go, man. Because you don't want Conor McGovern or some young guy coming in here talking about Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald? Ooh.
Well, fellas,
appreciation for McGovern.
We are out of time. Once again, I hate to do this to you, but I got to cut it a few minutes short because actually it's not short. It's right where it needs to be. This is perfect. This is awesome. This has been great, fellas. Hey. Kept it on the rails for about 58
grab a few more things
minutes.
out of Derek's office.
I am, yes, before I get locked down.
To my safety pins and fasten that diaper on his kid.
Hey, football is in the building. Football is in the air. We are getting really close to the season, man. Kurt, thanks for showing up. Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nate, thanks for bringing it. Chris, thanks for keeping us on the air. Every Monday, all throughout training camp, 11 o'clock, hanging with the boys. Come here to get your news. I will be out here on Mondays to report the very obvious things that are going on at camp. They're wearing red jerseys and they have names on their back. That's about all I got. So thanks. We will be back next Monday on Hangin' with the Boys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!